Bunny here. Welcome to our LEGO Hogwarts update video. We're continuing from where we left off last time, namely the interior of the Grey Hole. Now, some of you might already be noticing that the first thing that has changed is the height of this little dark bluish grey area. I have lifted it a little bit by one brick, I believe, because I thought that it was actually pretty short. This little hill pyramid shape was sticking about 2 bricks and a plate above the level of this railing here, and in all the pictures I saw that it was actually should be taller than that, so I actually raised it. I believe I have mentioned that before in a previous video, perhaps a long time ago, but now I actually got to fix it. Wasn't too difficult to go down in there. Now let's open it up again and talk about it a little bit more. We'll remove the tower as always. Then now the problem is that now, because this is a bit higher, it's a bit more difficult to grab this tile, because there isn't really any space for my finger to grab it from the other side, but that's okay, I guess. Next we remove the cover as always, and then we open it up. Okay, now next thing that has changed is actually I have touched the roof here a little bit. Now I believe I talked about it last time that there shouldn't be like just an empty space where the lighting is hidden, the lighting box, because when we do close the doors and turn the lights up, or on rather, since the box is right here and there are actually 2 lights, one here and one down here, but mainly one right behind this cover, it would mean that when we close here it kind of illuminates very strong light through the bricks, because they're actually tan, they're not black or anything, so it looks a bit weird when you turn the lights on and then you see the light coming through the bricks, and that was annoying. And also, although that this hole potentially would not be seen when the doors here are closed, it would be nice for it to have some kind of finished kind of version. Now I experimented a little bit with what I wanted to do. First I wanted to put kind of a latch that was going up and down, or inwards, outwards, sticking on a hinge here, but that kind of was scrapped pretty quickly, because it means that I can't open it inwards because the box is right here. I don't want the box to be deeper inside. That would mean it would be very difficult to access, and I want it to be very easy for me to turn the lights on when I want it and turn them off when I want it. So instead we put this plate here, and now the only way, I guess I could open it again with one hand, I suppose, but it would be easiest if we get like something thin. Even a tile or something would work, or even a toothpick, but I use this little screwdriver, just very gently, just to take it out. And from the other side I've placed these 1x4s and these jumper 1x2s, and that's because the inside here, I want this side, the upper side of the cover, to be right here, and that doesn't happen if we use 1x2s that are not jumpers, because this cable, I don't want any pressure against it. In this way, this side is sticking to the top, and we leave like a little, very little area where the cable was undisturbed. Now it was weird in a way, because now I thought that initially if this was lower it would be better, or maybe even higher, but not exactly here. But we need to think about the lights, because all the light bulbs inside the wire are separated on even intervals, which means that here you can see one of the lights and the other one is right about here. which means that this interval here is what we can work with. And also I don't want like this to be all the way in or sticking out too much, so I think that this kind of area is best where the opening should be. So yeah, we remove it and we can easily turn it on now with two hands. I prefer to do it because it's a bit unstable inside and I can't. There we go. I like to hold it with one hand while with the other hand I turn it on, so it doesn't really move too much, but I've placed it kind of in a little pocket so it doesn't fall down, doesn't like do anything too dramatic when I try to wiggle with it. So yeah, and then again you can probably even do this with one hand again, just very gently place it back in and it's all fine, and this cable here is also free. Not sure if that will be the final cut of it, but for the time being I think it's good enough. This is hidden anyway, so it doesn't really matter what it looks like, I guess. Now what I wanted to mention is the candles. Now I've been talking about this for a long time, and I've here just placed like maybe a fourth, a quarter, or a third of all the candles, but I wanted really to show you how my thought process and what I wanted to achieve and the way I've done it, and perhaps you can tell me if you have better ideas. But after all the thinking that I've done and all the planning and even talking to a few fellow builders for asking them for advice and opinions, really don't think there is a better option, but perhaps there is. But for the time being, that's the way it will be. Now I will take out one of these and show you. Now we're using these pieces. First of all, these can be found, these transclear pieces, I don't know what they're called exactly, but they're found even in many Harry Potter sets nowadays. I believe the one where the first line lesson, there are like a couple, and some other sets. That's the one that pops in my mind right now. But yeah, these initially weren't supposed to be this piece. We wanted to use these antennas, as I believe I've shown before. Let me adjust the camera. There we go. And because the idea was the first initial thing that I wanted to achieve with this is for there to be as few transparent kind of pieces as possible. So they need to be as tiny as possible and as few of them as possible, and yet to achieve the whole floating candle idea. Now the candles obviously needed to be downwards in the straight angle, and we wanted to be able to place them in different kind of heights, and also we wanted to use as best as possible the model that I've placed and I've shown you in the last video of these kind of, here we have 1x2s, but we have 2x2s on the inside and these clips as well. Now why do we have both of these versions? Why not only these jumpers from the side, or not only with clips? Because first of all, these, similar to how they are holding the cables here, the ones that are 2x2s on the inside are also holding the cable. Also, we want to have some variety because we don't want the candles to be kind of in a straight line. We don't want all the candles to be like the same altitude. We want some of them to be a bit higher, a bit lower, some to be able to be kind of behind the others, and for them to look natural when we film and when we look from here. And when we have multiple ways of connecting the transparent pieces, that means it will be easier for us to achieve this kind of variety and natural look. Now the idea initially, as I said, was to use these antennas, but it turns out that the antennas are too short, because otherwise the candles would see how there's like a space between the fires now and the end of the ceiling. By the way, what do you think about this whole archway kind of finished idea now that we've placed everything. It looks very natural, and the cables, you don't see them at all. And even the lights, I have to kind of film from really underneath for you to see the lights themselves, the light bulbs. If you film naturally from like here, it looks like you don't see anything that is kind of strange. It just seems like there is light coming from out up there. So really like that end result. Now, like I was saying, the antennas meant that because they were short, the candles, right now you see there is room for them to breathe between the ceiling and the fires. It would mean otherwise that the fires would almost be touching the ceiling, which I did not like. It kind of hit everything up. I mean, the fires would mean they would be closer to the light bulbs, which would kind of give the illusion that they are actually, that the light is actually coming from the fire pieces, but it just felt so kind of didn't look nice. And the next best thing is this. Now, what we do with this is we always hang it like this, not the other way around, not like this. Technically, we could do this as well using the clip, but this way we can use the clip over here, or we could place it on one of these side studs here, which is what I've done inside. Which means that we have 6 potential places to place it all the way between the arches, like here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which means that that helps us for the candles to be spread out and not clustered, because if we can only place them like this, it would mean that they will hit each other, or they will seem like they're not naturally placed. Need to be kind of random in a way. And also, it helps us that if we place it on a clip, there is enough space for this to go up and down a little bit. Not too much, but maybe a brick up and down, which is kind of enough for variety. Now, the most important piece are these transparent 1x2 clips. I will take actually one to show you, because I don't have any spare ones currently. Here it is. Now this is the best piece I found that can support what we want to achieve. And why is that? Now, the candle needs to be like this. The fire needs to be facing straight up, not at an angle, not like this. It needs to be straight, which means that we need to use clips. And initially I wanted to use only one clip per candle, but that is difficult because let's say we're using the antennas, which I'm trying to take out one now. Let's say we're using the antennas and we're placing the antenna like this, and the one side that has the stud is facing downwards. And now you'd say, well, let's place a 1x1 or a 1x2 with a clip on the side over here on the bottom, and then obviously with the stud piece goes down here, and then with the clip we place the candle. But the problem is that, see how these pieces, the clip is like this. It's like this, not like this. The opening is sideways, not up and down. And actually this is the only transparent piece that has a clip with a plate on it, at least not in trans clear. So initially it was a problem because I couldn't figure out how to use that, but then maybe it's very obvious, but it took me like a while for the light bulb to kind of go on, to realize if I clip them together and clip one of the sides to this piece, and then the other side would be facing properly, and will give us the result that we want. And also, that means that we can also use the whole stick. We can place it anywhere we want, and also we can spin it around in 360 degrees, which is a lot of freedom. Yeah. We can make so that for example, we have two that are kind of near us, and then maybe one in the back, or maybe all are facing us. It gives a lot of variety and a lot of freedom. None of them will be identical, and none of them are kind of positioned the same way. It just they're positioned away so the candles are kind of evenly spread, but not too evenly, you know. So I think the end result is great. Now the design, for now at least, is the same for each one. Obviously they're turned around differently, but each kind of chandelier, which is not a chandelier, basically it's just illusion that just looks that the candles are floating, is one of these pieces, and 6 candles, which means we need 2 clips for each candle. It means 12 clips for a piece. And these clips are kind of difficult to come by, as you might imagine. And they're kind of expensive. I ordered initially 60 of them, which I've used here. Obviously, one is in my hand, and it's not like it's falling apart. So I have 5 more positioned there, but there is space for at least twice or 3 times as more. Now, I don't want the candles to be way too many, but I've ordered another 120-ish, I think, or 130 of these, which should be enough. But they weren't very cheap, not at all. And actually, I did try to buy them from the cheapest possible option. Still, they weren't very, very cheap. But I think it's worth it. And next time, I will be able to show you everything, like all the candles will be placed. And you'll be able to kind of see how the whole thing is looking when it's finished. I'm not sure if I'll use all the clips. I will gradually kind of fill the whole row of the section underneath the roof. And if I feel like maybe I should spread them around a little bit, or maybe use all of them, I'll just use my best judgment while I'm doing that. But yeah, that is my kind of predicament with the candles, and I think the solution is good. It was very frustrating to try to solve this initially, but when I did solve it and kind of decided that this is going to be it, and saw how it was panning out, it was a very satisfying result, and I think the result is very satisfying. Other than that, obviously I have changed the pieces here that were off color. That has been fixed, and also I have finished the whole flooring, is also fixed, is complete now, and on around the end it's also everything. I've brought it back. Now the interior, I have placed a few more minifigs, but I am actually in a process of still not making my final decision, because now I've decided that I want all the students in the Grey Hall around the tables to be with black robes, because we have, for example, from some of the older, I think mainly 2018 sets and others, we have these other uniforms where they're basically without the coats, if you want to call them coats, without the robes, the black robes. Underneath they have these vests, and I've decided everybody here, at least for the time being, that are in this scene in the courtyard, to be wearing the vests, and everybody in the Great Hall to be wearing the robes. And I've almost recycled every black robe here and placed one with a vest. But I know that in this scene, actually, there should be wearing robes as well, as far as the movie is concerned. But for the time being, I want them to be wearing vests. Ideally, at some point, I want here and inside robes, and we want vests inside the castle, for example, around the corridors, in the classrooms. But anyway, maybe I'll just spread them around evenly. But anyway, now I want everything to be the same here. That's why I've ordered about 50-60 euros worth of bodies with all 4 houses, which actually was not a very easy decision to make and to click pay on that order, if you know what I mean. But it will look good. So I'm waiting for those to arrive. That's why I have placed some food details, but not all of them, because I want to place the minifigs first, and then around them I will place the cups so they correspond with how their hands are, where their heads are facing, are they talking to somebody, you know what I mean. Also, the other thing is the tables, that I am still not 100% sure I like these tables. I mentioned last time the fact that I made them kind of wider. Now they're 3 studs wide, which means that the benches are still sticking outside of the tables. They're not underneath the table, which is going to be wrong if they are underneath the tables. Now they're half a stud facing outwards, creating the illusion that they're kind of proper, the way it should be. But not sure I like it. I tried 4 studs, did not like it. Went back to 2, did not like it. Tried something different, didn't like it much. So I went back to the way that you saw them last time. So they are the same now. But I actually did fidget with the tables quite a bit. But I'm not 100% happy, and I might change them again. I don't want to fidget everything around too much. So that's why I have just placed a little bit, testing how things would look in the middle or to the sides. I want the figures to be visible, not covered by the goblets or anything like that. So yeah, there's a lot of testing still going on, but next time hopefully I'll be able to show you almost the complete thing. Maybe if I decide that the tables would be fine the way they are, or maybe if I figure out something better for the tables, I'll be able to show you almost a complete kind of populated Great Hall interior. But also, how many minifigs do we want? Now, when you look at it this way, for example, on the Gryffindor table, which is the second one from the left, you can see that on the left side of the table, there are 4 minifigs sitting in a row. And there's perhaps room for another 6, which means that a whole table could accommodate around 20 minifigs comfortably, maybe even 22. Do we want that many? Do we want them to be a bit spread out, maybe? I'm not sure. I will have to see. Also, I don't believe that I will have enough minifigs to place. Even with the orders that I have made, I will probably be able to place, let's say, between 12 to 15 to 16 minifigs per house, but not 20 or 22, not for sure, unless I want to remove some minifigs from here or somebody else, someplace else to put them here, which I don't really like doing anyway. So there will be room to place even more in the future whenever I find a good deal on bodies, or maybe when I get some from other sets that I'm buying, or if somebody gives them to me. Some people that I know sometimes call me with Harry Potter minifigs. They know that I need a lot of them. But anyway, not really sure how I'll go with this. Also, we need to place some stuff on the teacher's table. And does it mean that it will stay 2 studs wide? Maybe we'll make it bigger too. We'll have to. Not really sure. Although I'd prefer not to touch it too much. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I really wanted to share with you the interior the way it is now, and the candles mainly. Perhaps I hope I wasn't too cryptic with it, or maybe I was too vague, I'm not really sure. But it was a real challenge to actually achieve this, and part of me actually thought that maybe it would not be possible to get a good result that would give us like the candles the way they should be. But I'm, like I said, quite glad the way it turned out, and can't wait for the rest of the clips, the 130 clips that I've ordered to arrive, so I can place everything and give you this overview with every single candle placed. I think it will look pretty nice. Here is the Great Hall assembled again, and I will leave you with this image before I end the video. I wanted to talk about next time, as usual. Now, next time I will be receiving 40 to 50 bodies of minifigs, 10 to 15 from each house. So I'll be putting those in, trying to customize them with faces, with kind of different, if you want to say, interactions with one another, maybe different scenes. If you have any ideas of certain characters being included in the Great Hall, in the dining area, if you want to see something in particular that you think might be interesting to be depicted, feel free to share it with me in the comments. I would really like to hear your feedback. We'll be placing more candles, or every candle that needs to be placed around the roof. So that should be done next time as well. I want to, if I have time, I will work on the rock work on the side of the building, the back side from where you're seeing now. I believe that I have mentioned in the previous videos that I want to kind of improve it a little bit, not too much, because we'll probably have to change it at some point when we do the kind of the ground around the building itself. And those are the main focal points. Now I will probably want to kind of tweak things inside here in the foyer again. I believe that we're missing 2 more knights, which I do have the helmets now and headpieces, and I believe I've ordered legs and torsos as well, so I'll be able to place those. So we'll place 2 more knights and weapons with them. One thing that I want to kind of talk about is that the lighting currently, the building is illuminated from here and from here to here, because this is a separate room, and here the roof is not part of the roof hat. This side here from here to here is static, can't be removed. And as you remember, here is the Dexter Easter egg, and it would be weird for this not to be lit and this not to be lit. Now over here we can probably use something like, maybe we can use a different way to light up the foyer and the side here outside the gatehouse. But these 2 windows are kind of problematic, because I don't want to change the whole idea of maybe making the roof hat including this side. It would involve too much building, and also that the fact that this side here is static, that is in the building and it's not moving at all, really helps for this to slide in and everything to align well. Otherwise, the amount of pieces, and because this is so big, it will always be difficult. I've tried that before. So we need to think about how to eliminate these 2 windows, and naturally 2 on the other side, well, 3 windows actually. But so I don't know, we'll have to think about that. Nothing comes to mind currently how to do it, but maybe with light bricks, maybe with kind of putting some wiring inside, although there isn't really much space. I don't know. If you have any ideas, feel free to share it with me. Yeah, one thing I want to mention, remember how we hit the Sword of Gryffindor over here? Was meaning to implement a little light brick so I can turn it on, and also use the orange transparent pieces that we've hidden behind the sword to be able to, we'll use these pieces between the light brick and the sword. So when we turn the light brick on, it would actually shine the whole little tower, and also we'll be able to see the sword inside. So if I have time, I will place a light brick here. We'll see how exactly that turns out, but it's possible. There is enough space for a light brick. And pretty much that's it. Once again, I would like to thank you for watching, for supporting me, commenting, liking, sharing, subscribing. It really helps a lot. Those of you that are doing it, it's really, really appreciated, believe me. So thank you again for watching, for being part of this project. And I will see you next time, which will be very, very soon. These 2 weeks between videos, they're always so quickly to pass. It just, sometimes I just don't feel the time flying by. But I will see you very soon. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.